think we are live.
And we are back.
Welcome back to the final round for the Armada World Championships.
Indeed, and it is going to be a fascinating final, actually. We got a couple of great players here. Obviously, we watched Justin's win last round. Against Justin is Josiah Burkhardsmeier.
And he is also flying Rebels. So we have Rebels on Rebels for the final round. And this Rebels list, though, it also has an assault frigate and some GR-75 medium transports, but has a much heavier hitter in the form of an MC-30 torpedo frigate as his final ship.
Yep, he has a torpedo frigate. It's got the admonition title, which should help its survivability tremendously. It's got H9 turbo lasers, assault proton torpedoes, ordnance experts. That thing is going to hit like a ton of bricks. If that thing tools up to the side of Yavaris, that could very easily take it out in a single salvo.
A single salvo, yes.
And so he's going to be able to use that ship as a bit of a bully, but it also has a decent turbo laser upgrade, so it can skirt the combat and still be useful if necessary. He's gone with General Dodonna, a cheap and very high utility commander, which is maybe going to allow him to fish for some great criticals. And then he just has an unbelievable number of Y-Wings with 2 Hawks and a couple of YT-1300s to just fly in and maybe hopefully do as much sort of bombing devastation as possible.
But here's the cute thing about his list. He has flight controllers on his assault frigate carrier version, and that is going to allow the Y-Wings and potentially the Hawks or the YT-1300s a little extra punch in the squadron game.
Absolutely.
So obviously his play so far has been flood them with cheap squadrons and then let them hit harder than you would expect.
Absolutely. And Josiah is a local player right here from Minnesota, so it's nice. It's always nice to see some strong local contenders even at the World Championships. And he's a previous 20 store champion, and he is a second place finisher at a 2016 regional. So this is the highest place he's ever attained. Even if he does not win this game, he's got to be happy with that trajectory this year.
Indeed, and his record so far has been 5-0. He has gotten 5 wins. All right, so superior positions is going to be the objective played to, and I think that was taken off of Justin's list.
Yes, I believe Justin has stuck with the initiative, and
I think Josiah. No, wait. Justin got to choose because Josiah's list is at a solid 400 points.
Yeah, and this is what we were talking about last game. That 398 initiative bid, it's not going to do much for you, except when it does. When someone has just packed in the full 400 points, that little tiny bid is going to pay off in dividends. And I think we're seeing a lot of people who maybe just don't like to play in these obstacles because they are all clustered up trying to kind of eliminate the power of that station. Make it kind of a no-fly zone. Josiah does not want Gallant Haven to be benefiting from any kind of crit removal, especially with Dodonna. So he's making it as hard as possible for Justin to get any use out of that station at any point in time.
Well, and as we saw last game, Justin's strength is his formation flying, and the last thing you want to do is do formation flying through an asteroid field.
Absolutely not.
That is a good way to guarantee you're going to suffer some damage. So I would not be surprised if we see Justin commit to a deployment to either the left or right of those debris and just basically fly, turn probably left, and ignore the obstacles entirely.
Oh, absolutely. No, I think superior positions is going to be a very interesting objective for this game because Josiah is going to get to see exactly how Justin sets up, and he's going to get to try to outflank him if he wants to. He's going to get to deploy his ships where he thinks they are going to matter the most. But as we saw last game, losing initiative is really, really scary when you have an alpha strike of such devastating potential like Justin does. And Josiah's squadrons are tooled up pretty much exclusively to do bombing runs.
That's right.
So there's a lot of them. They have decent anti-squadron firepower, but with Gallant Haven with flight controllers, but with Gallant Haven in play, that's going to be a challenge. And with the incredible anti-squadron firepower of Justin's list, I imagine that he's going to be able to pop Y-wings at a pretty quick rate. If I were Justin, I would want to jump on those Hawks and take them off the board as quickly as possible.
And I'm sure that's what those YT-1300s are for, escorting those Hawks and keeping them alive. I'm guessing Josiah's plan is going to be use his Hawks to let his Y-wings get in one solid turn of anti-ship bombing.
It's going to be a very interesting game because, again, Justin needs to keep his big ships alive. And he's going to have a much harder time doing that against intel bombers than he did against a handful of YT-2400s.
That's right. And one of the things we're seeing with Josiah is he's done double bomber command centers for maximum re-rolls. Again, trying to make those Y-wings really mess up the opponent. So Justin's, of course, deploying everything first because he's first player and for superior positions. So Josiah is going to get to set up, like, the best deployment he can against this.
But it's going to be tough, right? Because Justin's makes this lockbox with those flotillas on the outskirts to help with obstruction, to help block enemy ships, to throw tokens around, to help order squadrons into prime position. So, that combined with the initiative and just the way he sets up this defensive structure, I'm not sure superior positions is going to be as big of an advantage as it often is.
That's right, and Justin can can make rear attacks against Josiah's stuff just as easily as Josiah can.
Absolutely.
Now, I think superior positions would have been really useful in the last game we watched where we saw Steve sweep around the rear. Probably could have scored some points that way. But that is one interesting thing about the difference about this game as opposed to last game is there is a way to score points besides destroying ships. So it's possible we may see some people play to the objective and not just worry about killing enemy ships.
We might. I think that is going to factor into things. I mean, it's going to dictate to some degree how these players maneuver. They can't allow too many points to be racked up simply from squadrons attacking rear hull zones.
No.
So, if Justin turns his ships away from the fight, exposes his rear, that's going to open up a lot of scoring possibilities for Josiah. And same with Josiah. If he comes in with that torpedo frigate and leaves it vulnerable to some rear dice attacks, you can lose a lot of points, or rather hand your opponent a lot of points simply by opening up that exploit. So it's yet another layer of complexity that they are going to have to think about.
That's right. So let's see. Looking at Josiah's list here, we have 8 Y-Wings. That's 80 points of Y-Wings, 24 points of Hawks. That's 102.
And then 26 points of YT-1300. So they're both maxed out on squadrons.
Yep, 128 points and of squadrons on there. It's pretty much maximum on each side.
And again, this is very, very fascinating. It is a 5-ship on 5-ship list, but only 2 genuine combat ships on either side.
That's right.
But very different builds. Like, Justin's gone all in on squadrons, and Josiah has as well, except that every ship in Justin's build is also a squadron support ship, whereas Josiah has he brought a hammer to this fight.
That's right.
An uncontested torpedo frigate is absolutely brutal.
And admonition, of course. We were talking about the 2 titles for the MC30s, admonition and foresight. Foresight is probably the easier of the 2 titles to use because it just makes your abilities better, right? Like your evade tokens do double duty, your redirects can redirect from multiple hull zones, and that's nice. But I think admonition, for people who become really familiar with it, gets really can get really good for high-level players. Knowing when to discard your token at the right time to remove attacking dice, especially against the squadron-heavy list, where he's going to be throwing, where he's going to be coming at Josiah with a lot of 1 and 2 die attacks, could keep Admonition alive long enough for it to just kill something. And look, Admonition's there starting out on the flank.
That's exactly where I would have put that ship. That is a fantastic place. It's far away from those squadrons, at least to start with. If it can get that flank while the rest of the fleet moves in, that's going to be an advantage. Although, again, Justin has set up in such a way that his reaction is going to be very, very flexible. He can go in a lot of different directions with this fleet, and it's not going to be so simple for Josiah to move that Admonition around the way that he needs to do it. But again, if he can get it through, if he can get it into place, it is going to be brutal.
Yep, and both of them rocking maximum 18-point GR75. Well, not maximum, but certainly 3 each. So it's a lot of single black dice anti-squadron, and that's it, which, of course, Gallenhaven is going to be perfectly happy to see. But so Josiah's going to need to either win the squadron battle based on the strength of his own squadron attacks, or just like Steve last time, ignore that Ace's buddy screen. Now, the nice thing about Admonition is it also has those H9 turbo lasers on it, which stop your limit your ability to redirect.
Oh, no, the H9s are actually accuracy-based.
Oh, my bad.
Yeah, so H9 turbo lasers say, while attacking, you may change 1 die to a face with an accuracy icon. And that is an excellent, excellent meta call these days, and I'll tell you why. That Admonition is going to have a much easier time drilling down those GR75s than it ordinarily would. If it gets into close range, it's got ordnance experts, it's got a ton of dice. It can very easily pop one of those in a single shot.
That's true.
And from long range, it can still guarantee that it starts chipping away at things. So that is a huge, huge threat to enemy flotillas, and it's a very strong meta call. I am not at all surprised that that's been doing very, very well for Josiah in this tournament.
That's true, and it's a clever thing you can do with an MC-30, because the MC-30 torpedo frigate, even though it's all blue and black dice, still has that turbo laser slot, and H9s don't require it to be a red die.
No, it can be any die, and so as long as that ship is in medium range, it's a huge threat to those flotillas.
Yep.
I think truly the assault frigate is the menace that Justin will have to address if he wants to win this game.
You mean the torpedo frigate?
Yes, that is correct.
Yes. Now, that assault
the MC-30.
The assault frigate's certainly worth addressing too, because it is almost 100 points of Josiah's list and has his admiral.
Certainly.
But you're right. He needs to kill that torpedo frigate, because if that stays in his backfield, it can easily kill a flotilla at a turn. Honestly, that could possibly kill one of his big ships in 1 or 2 rounds of shooting.
That torpedo frigate can pop Yavaris in a single round. It can kill flotillas very easily. It's probably not going to drop an assault frigate in one go, but if the assault frigate has been whittled down by Y-wings, by the enemy assault frigate's turbo lasers, it's just a huge, huge threat to everything that Justin has.
Right. And with Dodana, and with also assault proton torpedoes, Josiah is going to be looking for exactly the crit he wants to make Justin's life miserable every time.
Oh, absolutely. Fishing for crits is no joke strategically.
It is interesting how much, when you look at his list, how much of it is doing things with it.
Absolutely. Now, this is going to be a very, very interesting game. Josiah's got squadron quantity. Justin has squadron quality.
Exactly.
Because Justin will win this squadron war, but it's going to take some time. And in the meantime, he's going to have to chew through 4 ships, 4 pretty decently defensive ships before he can lock that list down, which means those bombers are free to run riot. If I were Josiah, I would just ignore Justin's squadrons as much as possible and do my very best to just annihilate his ships quickly and painfully.
I think that is the smart play there. He's got the HWKs to make it happen.
Absolutely.
At least for one round, maybe two with their escorts. So Josiah's got to be planning on just focusing past Wedge and Luke and Dutch and focusing in on killing. I mean, this list, even more than the eight YT-2400s we saw last game, it just has hit points of squadron hit points.
Oh, yeah,
Squadron
absolutely. And I mean, like we saw last game, Justin's list is incredibly good at shredding squadrons. I mean, he's got Adar Talon, he's got Yavaris, he's got the Dudge Wedge combo, he's got huge anti-squadron potential and protection in terms of the Gallant Haven. But is it fast enough to get through all of that Y-Wing? I don't know that anything is fast enough to stop that from at least getting a decent bombing run in. I think we're going to see the Y-Wings able to leverage their bombing potential at least a little bit before Justin can start locking them down and eliminating the pieces that he needs to eliminate.
I think you're right.
And with that many squadrons on the board, he could just make it very difficult to get to his Hawks. He can keep them in the backfield. He can protect them with the YT-1300s, although it looks like the one Hawk is up in the front there, and then one Hawk is in the middle.
But it's got one YT-1300 protecting it,
Absolutely, and that's 8 hull that he's got to chew through. It's not going to happen in one round necessarily. Certainly, it's going to be very challenging to kill both the YT-1300 and the Hawk in a single round, which means those Y-Wings are free to just mercilessly pummel Justin's ships. And, I imagine that Justin, in many games, is able to, even if he loses the Gallant Haven and the Yavaris, he's able to coast along with those GR-75s. But with the admonition on the board being such a huge threat, basically eliminating the GR-75 scatter token as a defensive measure because of those H9 turbo lasers, he can't rely on those flotillas surviving in the way that he might in other games. The MC-30 is fast. It hits like a ton of bricks. It has automatic accuracy whenever it needs it.
It is the complete threat. The only thing it is vulnerable to is squadrons in turn.
Would you perhaps call it the total package?
I might call it the total package.
That is honestly, Sam, the MC-30 is my favorite chip in the game. It is a dream to fly. It is so satisfying when you just nestle that thing in for a nice double arc shot. It's just, I can see that there's some little teeth painted on there, sort of World War II style, and the green sort of camo look, kind of reminiscent of mid-century World War style, and I think that's pretty cool looking.
I'll admit I'm partial to the Liberty myself, but the MC-30 is definitely a close second.
Liberty's a good ship. I think once Kriegsmarine comes out, that thing's really going to sing.
Oh, yeah. We saw a few Kriegsmarines early on, but I think he's one of those high-skill admirals.
He offers a lot in the way of maneuverability, but he is challenging to play, and in a meta with a lot of nasty squadron builds out there. A lot of you're worried about demolishers. You're worried about stuff that can just drop your ships off the board. Riken, I think, is a really excellent choice. But that being said, we've seen 2 matchups now, and we've seen 3 different rebel admirals. So that's one unique admiral per player, which just goes to show the faction is very dynamic. There's a lot of different ways you can run things. Even though it's all rebels in the finals, every single rebel list has been very, very different.
That's right. And when the next wave for Armada comes out, the new squadrons, the new ships, I think we're going to see it switch up yet again.
Yeah, there's going to be even more diversity. The Empire is going to get its own sort of turbo laser reroute circuit bully in terms of the Architens.
Yeah, half Nebulon B, half Corvette.
Yeah, exactly. I think it's going to be a very, very fascinating transition to watch what happens when the new material comes out. But this is also a very fascinating tournament to watch, and I think we've seen a huge amount of diversity in the game, and that's good to see, because you never want it to coalesce into optimal builds or to stratify down to the point where you're not seeing a lot of variety.
It certainly reassured me. I'm happy to see the amount of different ships and people taking different things that we have, and it's been nice. So here we see Josiah has created basically the flying V of transports led by the assault frigate. Admonition's still waiting to activate. I'm sure he is going to activate that thing dead last.
Absolutely. Holding it back for when he needs it.
That's right. And also, he wants to maximize its effectiveness and see where everything else on the board is.
Yeah, I think Josiah is very well positioned in this fight. I think what we're seeing here is I think we're seeing Josiah with an early advantage and the ability to really slam Justin's ships hard. If Justin can do what he did last game and draw the game out, keep his pieces alive, keep them in play, eventually his superior squadrons are going to carry the day. But that's only going to pay off for him if he can keep his main ships alive.
That's
because
right.
if he can't, the admonition's going to slice through the rest of it like a hot knife through butter, and there's going to be too many Y-wings for him to deal with. Now, I think we might see the admonition just charge out.
Yep, Josiah's certainly thinking about it.
I don't know if that might be a little dangerous, to be honest, because Justin can counterpunch really hard with those squadrons. I'm not sure I'd want to be that aggressive at this juncture.
He could be thinking long term, though. If he makes a relatively aggressive turn now, he knows what the speed of those opposing ships are.
And he's only going speed 3, so not quite as much of an overextension as I thought. That's a pretty good position.
So
it's far enough away from the squadrons. He's going to be able to bring in the twin threats of the admonition and all those Y-wings simultaneously.
That's
and
smart.
Justin can't deal with both of them at once. He's either got to try to lock those Y-wings down, or he's got to try to kill admonition. And if he splits his squadrons up, I just don't think he's going to do enough to either target in this early round to stop it from getting its full potential off. But Justin, a great player. I'm sure he's thinking this exact problem out and trying to decide how to handle it.
And it looks like he is going to send his fighters forward to prepare for the Y-wing swarm that's going to boil across the board.
I'm sorry about that. Sure. Okay. I keep forgetting to do that.
Justin's gonna have to remember that fighter coordination team.
That is I think that's the second or third time he's forgotten about it.
But again, luckily Armada, pretty chill, pretty casual. Well, not casual exactly, but very, very sportsmanlike, very gentlemanly. Everyone knows there's a lot going on, and most of the players that I talk to just want to have a fair game where everybody remembers, to hit their triggers and do their activations and do things properly. That seems to be the desire on most Armada's players' parts. And I think the community is a really wonderful and sort of exemplary example of how you can be competitive but not be win at all costs, not be so focused on doing things exactly correctly, because there's a lot of information to process, and it just helps if both players enter into it in a spirit of kind of forgiveness and willingness to be flexible when someone forgets something right away, and can just back up and take care of it right away. Exactly.
And early on, also, that kind of thing's not actually going to affect gameplay, really. The Skurgs were going to definitely move there no matter what anyway.
Yeah, that's very true. And also, when it really matters is if you've moved past the game state, if you've done something else, then it becomes a little bit iffier. But if someone's like, oh yeah, can I just do this thing real quick? Generally speaking, nobody has a major problem with that. We're seeing a major jockeying for position here. Justin is keeping his squadrons flexible. He has got options. He can go after admonition. He can go after the Y-wings and try to hit them hard and tie them up. I don't think either player has a huge advantage in this scenario. It's really going to come down to the next couple of turns. Really, I think we're going to see a major turn next round.
I think you were right, by the way. Looking at the way he's got things set, Josiah and Justin are setting things up. I think Josiah is definitely thinking next turn is going to be his Y-wing opus.
Yep.
His
Yep.
flight of the Valkyries, if you were. And Justin is recognizing that, preparing as best he can to weather the storm. Justin knows that if he handles 1 or 2 rounds of those Y-wings just pummeling his stuff, he can kill every single one of them.
Yeah, eventually. I mean, he's got the squadron advantage now, but the really interesting thing with Josiah is Josiah does not have the initiative advantage, but they both have 5 ships in their list. And if I was Josiah, I would hope that I could activate everything else before I activated Admonition, which would force Justin to move into Admonition's really nasty threat range.
That's right.
Now, that's a bit of a risk because if Justin chooses to concentrate on the Admonition, he can do a ton of damage with those squadrons. And and he does have shots lined up with the assault frigate. He does have a couple of little plinks that he can take with Skurgs and such. But if Admonition can survive the round and force Justin's whole list to move up, it can do maximum damage and then get behind everything and out of there after its movement.
Exactly. So looking at this now, Justin, when round 2 begins, Justin could send his fighters and ships after Admonition early and try and kill it. But if he does, he's going to uncover a lot of his fleet to Josiah's follow-up Y-wing strike.
I think what we're going to see is the Skurgs go after Admonition, and I think we're going to see all of the anti-squadron fighters tangling with those Y-wings.
I think you're right.
And the other thing is the nice thing for Justin, and the thing that's going to help him tremendously, is those Skurgs. There's almost nothing in Josiah's list that can lock down any of Justin's squadrons. Everything's got heavy. Everything is concentrated on kind of this bombing run. So those Skurgs are free to just harry Admonition constantly.
Yeah, that is certainly right. All right, so he is trying to shift Tycho Tulu over to the left there. Again, I think you're right. I think he's going to send in Tycho into the pack of Y-wings there and hopefully hold it up as long as possible.
Well, he's going to try, but again, with 2 Hawks on the table and 2 YT-1300s with escort, he's not stopping that bomber wing from moving and doing what it wants to do. Intel is going to be really a powerful factor in this game.
Yeah. Yeah, the both sides are making use of the HWKs. Josiah has a couple of generic HWKs, and then, of course, we have Jan Ors, the named HWK-290 pilot, on Justin's fleet.
Yeah, and Justin doesn't need intel at all in this matchup.
Not really.
But he hasn't committed very many points to it. He's got a ship that doubles as an intel squadron and also can pass out those brace tokens and mitigate damage. So I think Justin spending very, very, very few points on intel has allowed him to maximize the nastiness of the rest of his squadrons, whereas Josiah has dumped all of his points into bombing, and he's spent a good chunk of those points just making sure that the bombers are able to get in and do what they need to do. He's got enough intel to protect, and he's got the YT-1300s to protect himself so that he can make that alpha strike. This is going to be an absolutely critical turn coming up. Players are setting their dials.
All right, getting
Thinking
ready
this
for
through.
round 2.
And of course, the critical thing about Armada is you're not just thinking about that next round. You are thinking about every round to come because you've got those 3 command stacks that you have to worry about. So you don't just have to think about this engagement. You have to think about the next 2 turns.
That's right. So, and this next turn is going to be absolutely crucial because Josiah has his fleet perfectly positioned. Justin also, as we saw last time, Justin's relying on formation flying. But here we have 2 formations going right at each other. One thing that's going to be interesting is one of them going to try and break, or are they just going to end up basically crashing into each other and getting locked in place? Now those flotillas are like, you can use them for some blocking. The GR-75 transports are going to be able to hold things up to an extent. But eventually the flotillas will not survive for long if they get into a situation where they keep getting rammed by enemy ships, or by your own ships for that matter.
No, it's very true, but this is a very sneaky move because he is able to put this flotilla outside of the devastating side arc of the admonition.
That is true.
Which means that it's going to take that front hit, and it can probably survive that hit.
I'll take that token and then pass it off to admiration.
Cool.
This is very, very interesting, though. He's chosen a more tactical maneuver, and he's going to wait on his squadrons to counterpunch whatever happens in this match. So he's gonna let Josiah make that opening move, and Josiah is also declining this engagement. Neither of them is extremely eager to commit to this, and it's understandable because they both know how critical this is going to be.
That's right.
So you've got these GR-75s just sort of delaying, positioning, jockeying, and drawing out this engagement. They both have the same number of ships. Josiah can force Justin's hand, though, because he has fewer. He's gone second.
So they have the same number of activations. Josiah will get the last activation.
Indeed, and I know that Josiah does not want to move admonition into that pile of squadrons because that is what is going to get it killed. It's going to get Yavaris to death. It's going to get, Adar Talon's going to add more bombing.
Josiah may accept that admonition's not going to get a really good shot this round. Between the front arc of admonition and the front arc of his cruiser, of his assault frigate, and a few Y-Wings, he could probably kill that transport this round. Of course, with Dodonna, it's still going to be there blocking him until the end. So he may just accept
You mean
one...
with Riken?
Riken, right. With Riken, of course, not with Dodonna. But with Riken, he may already be planning on admonition making its exciting run next turn as opposed to this turn.
Yeah, that's just it's a very trolly move to do. You park one of these sort of unremovable ships in front of something that really needs the maneuverability to get where it wants to go. So even if admonition deletes that ship, it's not going anywhere till the status phase.
That's right. All right, and opening up with the... so Justin's decided that he may as well commit, and he is sending his squadrons in to chew up that assault frigate.
Yeah, that is very interesting. I rather expected those Skirgs to go after admonition, but they are coming in against this Mark II assault frigate.
The assault frigate is more expensive and does have his admiral on it. Maybe he figures go for the big point score early and then weather the return.
It's certainly possible, and it also might be that the admonition was a little bit out of range of those Skirgs, or that he wants to keep those H6 Skirgs in position to threaten the entirety of Josiah's fleet, because all of those GR-75s are going to have to fly through there. They're going to be well positioned for when admonition's forced to move. He may be thinking more about future turns than about putting damage on a specific ship, or he may be trying to get rid of that assault frigate as fast as he can.
I think so. And also, when there's looks like some question about the range of that second Scourge. Like, could it get in range? It appears like it was not able to. That's a
Yep, that was a close one.
Yep.
Close one.
Good for Josiah, to be sure. But I'm guessing Justin's plan is to move up the Gallant Haven after his squadron strike.
Absolutely.
And then put the Scourge right back into the protective bubble.
Absolutely. Although I don't think he's going to need Gallant Haven. The Y-Wings are not an insignificant anti-squadron threat with those flight controllers. So, again, every time you can stop damage, every time you can take the pressure off of your own squadrons, that's a good thing. I don't think Gallant Haven is a need for Justin in this match, but it's not ever a bad thing to be stopping damage coming in against your squadrons.
Exactly. And the one thing that it helps with is those GR-75 medium transports roll 1 black die. Gallant Haven basically makes you immune to their anti-squadron fire, which otherwise could start getting really bad over 2 or 3 turns.
That's very true.
All right, and that's the Wedge Antilles follow-up.
Absolutely. Such a fun combo when you can pull that one off.
Yeah. He is chipping away at that YT-1300 early, sticking himself outside of Gallant Haven's protection just a little bit.
Mm-hmm. It's nice to see the heroes of the Star Wars universe utilized so effectively and so thematically. You see all of the major characters from New Hope in this list. You see Wedge, you see Biggs, you see Dutch.
Well,
you
not Biggs, but...
Or not Biggs, rather, Luke. Biggs doesn't exist yet. He might go into this list once he comes out.
He wouldn't be a bad choice. There's enough stuff with Escort in here.
He certainly wouldn't.
I might as well take a shot.
Yes. A follow-up on Gallant Haven, or a follow-up on Admonition from Gallant Haven.
Absolutely. That side arc is formidable, and the Admonition's at a nice range here, so it can probably deal with most of this damage. But if he can plink a few through, that's a plus.
Everything's gonna.
And again,
that's not gonna do it.
Canceled right away by the evade token, of course. But you got to take every shot.
You absolutely do. And something else that this game may follow up to is who gets a little bit more on those lucky shots. So it looks like he's thinking about just going right in again.
He's plowing in. It's not a bad tactic.
It's not, and it's going to be a lot of Y-Wings on the follow-up, though, that Gallant Haven's going to have to put up with.
I do wonder how it's going to weather this Y-Wing barrage. This could get ugly very fast.
It really could. So we're talking about 8 Y-Wings. All of them could potentially get activated and attack this turn, depending on what Josiah picked. That's 8 black dice. And he's got the HWKs to guarantee they're going to be coming in and doing it.
It's so mean. It's so mean. If I was Justin, I would want to slow roll this a little bit more. I don't care about in his shoes, I wouldn't care about the protective bubble for my squadrons as much as I would care about just
not getting
shot by
frigate.
every Y-Wing in Josiah's list.
Yeah. And
I don't know that he can stop it, though, because I guarantee you he's got a squadron command plotted on every single one of those GR-75s and on his own assault frigate.
And that's, I'm sure, what Josiah's been waiting for, is for Justin to stick something valuable, either Yavaris or Gallant Haven, into the meat grinder that he set up so that he can just lunge at it and take it apart. And yep, there it goes. So Gallant Haven is now right up in the mix. The assault frigate's Josiah's assault frigate's gonna get a double arc shot. It's a assault frigate B, so not a big deal, but
he's gonna take so much punishment here. He's gonna take a shot from the enemy assault frigate. He's gonna take all of this Y-wing fire. And again, there are 2 bomber command centers in Josiah's list, so every single Y-wing is gonna get to roll a die and then re-roll it, and then if it needs to, re-roll it again.
That's right. So, I mean, what are we looking at here? We're looking at 8 black dice, almost guaranteed each one's doing 2 damage.
I mean, we could be looking at 10 or so damage just from the Y-wings.
We could be. Well, maybe not almost guaranteed, but it's close.
It's close. I mean, each black die has a 75% chance to hit.
Yep.
And there's
25% chance of doing the hit crit, which is obviously what Josiah wants.
And with 2 rerolls,
I don't know. I was gonna say you're a math person. What would that be?
I mean, like back of the envelope math, I would say that you could easily put 10 or 11 damage on the assault frigate if all those Y-wings get to shoot it.
Yeah, that sounds about back of the envelope.
I mean, it's mean. It's super, super mean. Maybe more. If you roll a lot of crits, it could get uglier.
And Dodonna,
he's got brace token, and he's got a brace token.
the brace token's not going to matter.
But it's not going to matter against squadron attacks very much. Plus, you've got the assault frigate coming in. I mean, it is possible that Gallant Haven goes down this turn. It is very possible.
In which case, we would have seen, Josiah seeing Justin's plan and answering it with his deployment.
If I'm Justin, I'd be very, very nervous of the squadrons coming at him at this juncture. Very nervous.
I mean, the other question's going to be: is Josiah willing to basically sacrifice his squadrons to kill Gallant Haven this turn?
Oh, I think absolutely.
Well, so Gallant
If he can.
I was going to say Gallant Haven's got flight controllers. He may be tempted not to, but I think that would be a mistake.
I think it'd be a huge mistake because Josiah's assault frigate. Yes, flight controllers are sweet, but at the end of the day, Gallant Haven's going to stop damage. There's going to be brace.
He's going for it though. He's trying some anti-squadron shots. I couldn't tell who that was from, but that was certainly.
He might be doing that with the YT-1300s. I don't know. If I was Josiah, I would just bombs away.
I agree.
We'll see what happens though.
Now, maybe with the YT-1300, he figures there is no. I don't believe YT-1300s don't have bomber, so they're.
No, I mean maybe you take the anti-squadron shots with those, but I think he's probably positioned to activate every squadron in his list. So he might as well do the 1300s first. Put them in position to protect his Hawks. Try to play that game. He doesn't have to unleash the bomber barrage immediately.
That's right. He is trying to be very precise here. Yep, and there goes the Y-wing.
Yeah. So use the YT-1300s to take some squadron shots and then bombs away.
Yep. Reroll with Bomber Command Center.
Oh. But he's got 2.
There.
And there it is. So that is the power of Bomber Command Center, just being so useful. I think really the GR-75s and Bomber Command Center is the reason we are seeing this shift in the meta to squadron lists.
That's right. And then he moves them away so that he can get more Y-wings in later.
Yeah, very smart positional play.
Mm-hmm.
Just really, really, really mean. Really mean list to try to tangle with here.
That's right. And shot again. So that'll be his 3rd activation. Boom. There's the hit crit right away that he needs.
Hit crit right away. Can't be
and
too happy about that one.
Justin has to be weighing that side arc shot from the assault frigate about his brace that he probably wants to save for.
I think Justin may have overcommitted with Gallant Haven. I mean, the typical tactic with Gallant Haven, of course, is to hug your squadrons, protect them. But if anything needs protecting in this game, it's the Gallant Haven itself.
That's right. He should have sent his squadrons in ahead of time to just chew up as much of that squadron ball as possible.
Hold back, skirt the edge of the engagement, throw your squadrons in, make a screen in front of you and those Y-wings, try to kill the intel before, and then you can potentially survive. But he has just plowed Gallant Haven right in. I mean, Rican's going to keep it alive for a turn, but if it goes down this round, it's not going to help. It's not going to do him any good. He's not even going to get an extra activation out of it.
That's right.
And it very well could. I mean, it might live one more round.
If it lives one more round, he will have burned off most, if not all, of his defense tokens, and that's the.
I mean, the Gallant Haven's got 2 rounds in it maximum. It needs to survive this round for Justin to have.
There.
And see, the thing is, the damage might even be higher because there's almost no reason not to reroll that first die.
Yeah. I mean, when you get 2 rerolls, he may as well just keep rerolling till it hits a hit crit.
Now, Assault Frigate's got 4 shields in the front, it's got 6 hull, it's got redirects, it's got brace. It's a lot to get through in a single round, but if any list can do it, it's Josiah's.
Yep, and I think we've probably already seen, I'm guessing he's already had to spend his, yep, and so he's probably already spent his redirect. His brace is pretty miserable here too because it's reducing it by 1 again.
Yeah, I mean,
Like-
it's gonna stop a couple
Yeah.
of shots at best.
He may have been in the position where he had to burn out his redirect there just to not take the crit.
All right, then I will
And if he burned out the redirect, that means that the next
2 dice to do no
Y-Wings to activate are going to start delivering those Dodonna crits.
Oh yeah.
Those
yeah.
those painful.
Oh, and that's the other thing. Dodonna can fish for double damage crits.
Yep.
And that is going to bring the Gallant Haven down even faster. I think this could get ugly for Justin very, very fast.
He could also crew panic and get rid of any possibility for engineering or for squadron activations. I mean, give Gallant Haven concentrate fire or maneuver. I mean,
Oh yeah.
like
Oh yeah. Stop him from spending depleted defense tokens, which will stop crucial redirects.
yep.
This could get very grim very fast.
Yes.
For
and
the Gallant Haven.
we see. Yeah, so Gallant Haven is going, or not Gallant Haven, but the other assault frigate is possibly going to just ram that that little flotilla position right there, and yep. So he just rammed that flotilla, put a damage on him, and honestly ends up exactly where he wants to be.
Oh, absolutely, absolutely.
That is
Using Justin's own flotilla against him in a way to get a nice position for his assault frigate.
Now, I don't blame Justin for putting that flotilla there because,
Not at all, not at
like
all.
we've been talking about, admonition is such an obvious threat.
Absolutely.
And then the Skurrigs end up in the back, though. That's not going to be fun for anyone. I mean, well, it might be fun for Justin.
red.
Yeah. In the long run, those Justin squadrons, like we've been saying, it'll win the squadron battle, but is it going to get the chance?
Well, and again, in Armada, as we know, if you lose all of your ships, it's game over.
It is game over. Even Riken can't keep his forces going past the end of the round at that point.
Now, losing the Gallant Haven here is not the end of the line for Justin, but if I'm Justin, I have got to be hoping for one more round. Just survive the round, get to the next round, get that initiative activation, do my full anti-ship attack into the enemy assault frigate,
Yeah.
activate a huge number of squadrons, get Adar Talon off again, but it's not going to avail him if this ship dies right here and right now.
So we can see now that Gallant Haven has spent its brace and its redirect. It hasn't taken any damage cards yet, I think. No, I don't think it's taken any damage cards.
It hasn't been shot enough. I think only 2 Y-Wings have shot at it so far.
Yeah.
2
and-
Y-Wings in the assault frigate.
And I'm going to use that to go.
But there's so many more Y-Wings coming in.
Yeah, another, I think 3 total went. That means there are 5 more Y-Wings. The 5 Y-Wings, if they roll well, could just kill Gallant Haven on its own because he could, if they do max damage, that's up to 10 damage, which Gallant Haven can't take.
Yeah, it's going to be a dice off.
Mm-hmm.
I think if Josiah doesn't kill Gallant Haven, Justin is right back in the fight.
Yep. And the other question is going to be on Josiah, though. I'm not sure about the range on admonition. It might be able to reach out to the side of Gallant Haven, although I don't think so with the front.
Well, he does have a few blue dice,
But it's going to be obstructed.
but it's going to be obstructed. Yeah, I think that's good. That's very good GR75 positioning on Justin's part. But you know what? Josiah, again, not having the initiative is a bit of an advantage this round because he can wait to see what those Y-Wings do. And then, if he's got concentrate fire plotted with admonition, if he's got just one more hull that he has to do to Gallant Haven, yeah, you absolutely take that shot.
I mean,
and he can wait and see.
Hell, if he's got one more hull, he could just ram it to death.
Absolutely. It is going to be tough. I actually think it's going to be tough for the Gallant Haven to live through this round of shooting.
Too many Y-Wings. He's got 99 problems, and the Y-Wings are all 99
of them, pretty
Yep.
much. Yeah. Although, he took a pretty heavy hit from the assault frigate as well.
That did not help. That was it was only 3 damage, but it was kind of perfect because it was another shot that had a crit in it, so he had to spend tokens to avoid it, and was not enough damage to really like feel like an impactful time to spend your brace token. Those small damage attacks just eat up your tokens.
They certainly do. Now, even if Gallant Haven goes down, Justin's not out of this fight.
No.
Because the rest of his fleet is fairly well positioned. He's got those nasty squadrons. He's got Yavaris. He's going to be able to get rid of those intel ships eventually. And if he can keep some of his ships alive, even one of his ships alive, he's got a number of rounds to try to claw his way back up and bring down the enemy assault frigate, start putting the hurt on that Y-Wing squadron, because, those are points too. Every Y-Wing is 10 points. The YT-2400s are 13 points a pop. The Hawks are 12. It adds up. It all adds up.
That's right.
And two, it hasn't happened yet, but lurking in the backfield here, the specter of superior positions. Even if Justin loses his ships, if he can start drilling in on the enemy ships and picking up objective points, he can make up that difference very, very, very fast.
That is true. That is true.
And he doesn't have to worry about being locked down by those Y-Wings. If Justin can eliminate the Hawks, his squadrons have total control over where they move and what they shoot, and he can start racking up huge numbers. And those Skirgs being behind that assault frigate, those are going to get him some objective points.
Yeah, that's
and that's
right.
going to be big.
Yep.
Very interesting game.
In a game like this, especially because it's single elimination, 10 to 20 extra objective points could be the difference.
Absolutely.
Between a minor loss and a minor win.
Now, if I was Josiah, I might try for a total knockout here.
That is the best way to deal with a full squadron list, is to just remove the ships, and then all of those really, really good squadrons, doesn't matter.
It's the Achilles heel of a full squadron build. It really is.
And as we talked about, Admonition is set up to kill ships, to kill squadrons specifically.
Specifically flotillas, actually, because Admonition has that automatic accuracy, and it can hunt those GR-75s.
That's right. All right, so looks like flotilla number 2's moving into the pack. Presumably, Josiah's going to ignore it for now. Oh, the other thing is, if he takes out Gallant Haven, his flotillas can actually start doing anti-squadron work, which is the only thing they can do fight-wise.
That's very true.
With one black die.
That is very true.
And I imagine Josiah would like to have those extra 1 to 2 damage a turn on everything.
Oh, absolutely. I'm sure Justin's going to be leveraging his GR-75's anti-squadron power as well.
Yeah. That's one thing we've seen a lot more in this tournament with these flotillas getting in play, is the idea of even bad anti-squadron shots. If its quantity is the best quality, right?
Oh, absolutely.
Or quantity is a quality all of its own, and those flotillas will let you have a quantity of anti-squadron. Yep, here goes. He's
more Y-Wings coming in.
Yeah, they're gonna.
And those bomber command centers just absolutely devastating.
Yeah, he's just gonna keep it right out of Mr. Tycho Sulu's range there, and continue the bomb raid. Oh.
Right off the bat, hit crit. No need for a reroll.
Nope. He's either going to be spent. I'm betting you right now he's going to be spending his redirect.
If I was him, I'd get shields, up in the front in any possible way.
Oh yes. But
the big question for this whole game is going to be, can Gallant Haven hang on gallantly?
That's right. All right, another Y-Wing coming in. The biggest problem Josiah is going to have here is, can he fit all of his Y-Wings into that front?
It's true. It is a question of physical real estate at some point, which is rather an unusual problem to have in a game of Armada for squadrons, but it's a real problem.
Yeah.
I don't think he's going to lose any attacks because of it. Bomber Command Center, of course.
Playing in.
All but
Boom,
guaranteeing these devastating. And he's rolling well, too. That's not helping Justin's cause at all.
So far, I think we've only seen one time that he's actually had to go to the 2 rerolls.
Yeah, and
Oh.
even then, he's still got a hit out of it. He's gotten double hit.
Oh, look at it. Here's the Dodonna crit going on.
Oh, and that's the thing. It's like it's insult on injury, or actually it's injury on injury.
And we're about to find out what this critical hit is.
If it's multi-damage, that is bad news.
And the third bomber.
I just don't think Gallenhaven has got what it takes to survive this.
No, I'm not sure what that one was. And we may not get to find out, or they may ask him to show it off. It was faulty countermeasures. Oh,
Yep, that's a bad one.
Yep.
That's a bad one.
Yep.
That means he can't redirect. He can't burn his redirect.
Reroll one to bomb command.
And he's going to try it again.
Reroll.
Still one. Oh, is he just going to leave it? At this point, that's wise.
Is that, damn it?
You don't want to roll into a blank.
No.
When you're on your last reroll and you have a hit, you've got a equal chance of making it better and worse.
That's
so I just
right.
don't think you take it. You take the guarantee.
I think you do. All right. He is going to. What is he going to do here? Like, he doesn't. If he goes straight forward, he might. He's got a ram at that point, and he may lose the opportunity of getting some more squadron attacks off.
Which is clearly a ram.
Yep. And you move one forward, right?
Yep.
So that will apply some self damage, which is not ideal, but hey, if it gets you where you want to be, that is pretty crucial. Now here is a very interesting thing though. This may change everything because he has just overlapped his own Hawk 290.
But the only thing about that is those are the Hawk 290s that haven't activated yet. His last squadron activations can pull those Hawk 290s back into the position.
Unless Justin can pin them down. Oh, but they have intel,
Right.
so that's not going to matter. Never mind.
Josiah.
Oh, intel. What an
Jos-
answer for everything it is.
That's the thing. Josiah has played this very smart by putting his Hawk 290s into a good position last turn and not activating them this turn.
Yep.
That means he is just guaranteeing that they'll get to. So Justin is going to do the pretty smart move of using them to try and tangle things up to begin with.
Now, one thing he might be able to do is he might be able to separate the escort from the Hawk.
Yep.
And if he can do that, he can actually kill the Hawk pretty easily.
That's true.
So that may be a valid route to try to get an edge here.
To be perfectly honest, those Hawks are those escorts are pretty close to dead anyway, given those Wedge Antilles shots earlier.
That's certainly true.
7 hull is pretty strong, but I don't think strong enough to handle the fury that is Wedge Antilles.
No, I don't think so. And we have Yavaris coming in as backup, which is just going to double down all of that nastiness.
Yeah, and this is incredibly interesting. You're right, though. Gallenhaven may manage to make it one more turn, and if it does, that could prove to be a game changer.
That's a big swing. Josiah, though, still a lot of squadrons left to activate and admonition.
I think he's got a couple of.
To activate Yavaris.
Yep, there we go. Here's Yavaris.
Yavaris to the rescue.
Man, I don't think I have anything in range right now.
Oh, that's a problem.
Oh, interesting.
No love for Yavaris this round.
He's been working so hard to try and deal with this Y-wing threat that. No, I guess. Well, no. To be fair, he does have. But he's already activated Jan and Wed. No, he hasn't. They're on yellow. But maybe he just doesn't want to activate them. He may want to save the token.
Yeah, certainly possible. Now, I do wonder about the aggressiveness of Gallenhaven here. I think plowing right into the middle of all of that it's a bold move.
It's a very bold
move. It's a very bold move. We'll see if it pays off.
Unless his assumption was the amount of hurt Gallenhaven's going to absorb is better than.
I mean, say what you will, the Gallenhaven is certainly keeping those Y-wings occupied this round.
It is certainly living up to its name, isn't it? Yep, Yavaris moves up.
Yep. Again, very, very, very fast moves. He's getting right into the middle of these Y-wings, and I just wonder I wonder if he would have been better off holding back a little and trying to let his squadrons do a little bit more work before taking the brunt of this stuff.
That's right. Now the Y-wings, of course, are fast enough on their own.
They are.
That he may have felt like he just couldn't get away from them.
Yeah, it's possible.
Or maybe it is a failing of his formation strategy.
Well, he did have to put stuff down first. And not only do you have to put your forces out before your opponent when you are dealing with superior positions, you also have to set the speed dial.
Oh, that's a good point.
And so, he may have just toggled in these high speeds, not exactly knowing how the future of the battle would shape up. And then, of course, you are so busy with all of the things that you need to do in Justin's list, like
And the second shot.
command squadrons, build up nav tokens, etc. He may not have had the resources to bring his ships down to a slower speed.
That's true. Looks like the first YT 1300 has been taken out by. Of course, that's what happened. Yavaris, of course, waited to use its squadron activation until after it moved.
Oh yes, absolutely, because of course it has the
Flight Commander.
Flight Commander, which is a crucial upgrade. So actually, yes, Yavaris perfectly played.
Yeah.
Moving in and now getting the double
I'm
tap.
so sorry, dude. It's just so. I'm not trying to do. You get the intent what I'm doing.
The brutal double tap of the Yavaris is absolutely going to be in play this round.
Absolutely.
And next round.
Looks like he's managed to block off that vulnerable front arc from the last couple Y-wings.
Oh, that's so smart. That is such a good place to put that X-wing.
Yeah, that's gonna be unpleasant for.
That is a clutch, an absolutely clutch play.
Again, it's not going to save Gallant Haven for long. It'll
No.
save Gallant Haven for a turn,
Maybe.
and that might be what he needs.
If he gets another turn with Gallant Haven, he has done his job.
Yep.
If he gets another turn with Gallant Haven, this bold, face-first strategy will absolutely pay off.
But we still haven't even seen what Admonition's going to do yet.
No, we do not.
And all the other major players in this fight have activated.
It's true.
Oh, look at that! He's seen if he can
Can he
slip
sneak
in there.
one through? Yeah, it's
Might
going to be close.
It's going to be super close. He might be able to, though.
It's true.
I wonder if we're going to get a judge call on this. Look at that. Precision like a surgeon.
It's true. It looks like he checked it, though, and he's not going to be able to get in there. Well, he's going to try. He's going to, and of course, the activation toggle is not a legitimate blocking element in the game. It is not supposed to impede movement.
Don't think you can do it. I just bumped it back. I get it.
Yeah, he moved more than that backwards.
Oh, they're
Yeah. See, now the problem here is Justin's just not. He's bumping everything, and
Josiah really wants that last Y-wing hit. and
understandably. I think at this juncture, Justin has done so much bumping that it's impossible to tell what the previous game state was.
Probably get one more shot.
So they're just going to agree on one more Y-wing shot, which I think is the fair call. You have to be so. Yeah, this is an example of when you do have to be really careful about precision in this game. Most of the time, you can kind of eyeball it or get close enough, but when it's a matter of one more crucial shot like this, you have to be very careful not to jostle the pieces. And if you do, it's kind of like you have to just sort of accept that you have rendered whatever the original game state was unreadable and kind of bow to whatever your opponent was trying to do at this point.
That's right. And okay, so he's putting one in right there.
Oh, again, trying to fit it, didn't quite fit.
Sorry, it's a big deal right now.
Yeah,
We are seeing
All
the
respect, brother. I mean, really, seriously.
we are seeing the point at which Armada does become a precision game, and it's a bit challenging to play it that way
This
because
is the one side. The sliders are great on the squadrons, but at the same time, they get in the way.
yep.
Yeah, exactly what Justin just said there.
Shoot the front. Yep. One blue.
But
It's a hit.
ouch,
Dang.
one more damage.
Very.
Oh, and I'm guessing what he's going to do then is move his HWK out of there.
Yep. open up a.
I mean,
enough
so he's got to
space.
keep where he can. He's basically got to keep. Yeah, you know, and
Yeah. Yep.
yeah.
Yep. Then he moves with intel. He opens up just enough space. The Y-wing comes through.
Yeah.
Justin doing his damnedest to keep the hurt off, but you
They're-
know,
I mean, they are eyeballing that so closely that we can't even see what's going on anymore.
no, it is a.
Oh.
Every time. Josiah's bomber dies hot.
I think that was dead. Because he just asked him if he cared about the crit at all, and
Yeah.
he's not even bothering to look at it because,
Yep.
of course,
I
if
did
was the
not
sixth.
think I did not think that Gallenhaven could hold on, but it almost did.
Yeah,
Almost did.
yeah. Oh, brutal.
That's tough.
course.
That's a big swing.
Of course, we won't see Gallenhaven removed until.
Thanks to Riken. Although Riken's not actually going to have any impact on this game except to act as sort of a weird buffer and prohibit those GR75s from moving.
So that's an interesting thing about Riken is that so he's going after the Skirgs now to lock him down with the HWK.
And he's going to get some objective points out of this too.
Yeah. Well, no, not on this because he's attacking the Skirgs.
Oh, the Hawk is attacking the
Yeah,
Skirgs.
the
Yes,
Hawk
okay.
is attacking the Skirg bombers. But what's interesting about this is that, and this may be because of both players knowing what Riken does and playing around it. There's the 97 points for the dead Gallenhaven up there. But because they know what Riken does and are attempting to work around it, they can basically just, he's going to try and kill one thing around, wait till the end of the round, and it goes away.
Absolutely.
And so, of course, Gallenhaven is going to do a little bit before it goes by providing a
It's
blocker.
going to put some damage on these GR75s, which is actually quite helpful.
Yeah, that Bomber Command Center, as we've seen, is super useful for Josiah, and I'm sure that Justin would be happy to see one of those go away.
Although, ironically, the Double Bomber Command Center,
Came into play once.
he just rolled so hot he didn't need it.
I think that's he's probably perfectly happy to have it as a backup.
Oh,
but,
absolutely. I mean, if you're rolling hit crit on your first roll every time, you can't be mad about that.
And then after this, the squadrons are going to get all scattered up anyway, but it doesn't matter. They have done their job. And
The only thing that Justin might be able to do is he might be able to isolate that Hawk for the kill
Yep.
next round. Because
But
he does have initiative. And if he can kill those Hawks, that's going to help a lot.
it's going to help a
It's
lot.
gonna help a lot.
I don't know if it's going to make all the difference in the end. I mean, with
We will see.
With the Gallenhaven dead, the one other thing he can start doing now is that small anti-squadron fire to try and clear out a few squadrons.
That's true. That's very true.
And it's a big lead right now that Justin has to overcome.
It certainly is.
And I don't
A
think
big lead and a nasty positioning on that admonition. That admonition is going to be able to just tear through Justin's list.
you have to feel like Josiah's already got his eyes directly affixed on your Varus.
And directly fixed on that World Championship trophy that is sitting out there on the table. That's a big turn for Josiah. If I was in his shoes, I would be feeling very, very good about the way this game is going.
That's right.
We have more jockeying for position. This is a big turn, and it is taking a long time to play out. We've got a lot of thought going into every maneuver here. This is a very, very critical turn.
That's it. Are we my activation now? Yep. Okay, number. Nav.
Justin revealing a navigation command. Doing a little perfectly legal pre-measuring to see whether he needs to use that nav command or bank a token. looks like he has decided he is going to utilize those extra clicks generated by that nav command to turn in nice and tight.
All right, your move.
And that is it for the GR75's activation.
Navigate, control use.
Is activating admonition, and here it comes. This is what this ship is built to destroy GR75s.
All right, I'll reroll both of these ordnance experts.
Ordnance experts coming into play. The man is a fan of rerolls, and boom, we have a huge hit onto this GR75.
Make sure he's ready.
And then all he's got to do is ram it for the kill. So yeah, admonition is a flotilla slayer. And that is a great meta call. Great meta call. We've seen a lot of flotillas in this tournament, and that ship is designed to do just that. Take them out of the game, get them out of the way. That being said, I don't know that he's going to... I don't think he is going for the ram. I think what he is going for is to actually be...
Is this good for you? Are you going to measure from that side?
Yep.
Yeah, so he's not going for the ram, interestingly enough. He is trying to get around it and have better positioning later, which I can totally understand. Get that side arc into play.
Oh, that's a smart move.
Now, it won't drop the GR75 this round, but he can probably take care of it later. It's so close to dead that it is going to be... actually, it looks like he did kill it.
Oh.
It just took a little while to get those points up on the board, but Admonition just one-shotted that GR75, and now it is simply trying to put itself in a good position for the future.
That is the one problem. The one problem with Riken, right? You're never quite sure what, whether or not the effect has gone off. Now,
it's true. Having to move this a little bit because he just
look at that.
He just had enough room to that is a beautiful bit of flying, is what that is.
They might as well just leave that. They might as well just leave that maneuver template there until until Gallant Haven gets pulled off the board.
Oh no!
Oh, that's unfortunate. So, admonition being right there. That is a nice play on Josiah's part.
It's such a mean machine, Sam.
And look at it. His Riken flagship in double arc on one side. Yavaris being threatened on the other side. No matter what Justin activates next round,
so brutal.
Something terrible is going to happen.
I'm going to call it right now. I think Josiah is looking at a real potential for a total board wipe.
I think it's possible. He's lost 2 ships this round, and
2 ships are down. 3 weak ships are left. All the Y-wings are still in play. I don't think he can deal with intel fast enough to prevent more bombing from happening. It might be looking like a total massacre.
He could keep that last GR75 transport on the far left wing of his fleet alive. It could just fly away and not really get involved in the fight anymore. But that would be prolonging the inevitable.
I don't think it can run for long. I mean, the other thing about the MC-30 is it's just so fast.
That's true.
So fast.
And if the MC-30 kills most of his fleet and then boogies on out of there, his squadrons won't be able to catch up to it.
Absolutely. And his own assault frigate has taken very minimal damage.
Yep, there goes.
I think Justin had a chance to win this. I really do. But I think that chance is gone when he lost Gallant Haven.
I think you were right in your earlier call. The Gallant Haven play was just too aggressive, and he underestimated how brutal all those Y-wings were going to be, and the fact that those 2 HWKs were going to make sure all those Y-wings were going to get to attack.
Oh yeah.
Oh man.
And it looks like both of those HWKs are still alive.
Still kicking. I mean,
and so is one of those escorts with 4 hull on it. It's, Justin was not able to do nearly enough to the key pieces in that Y-wing bomber swarm.
Yeah, and that's the thing. Like, if he is able to return the favor and kill Josiah's transport or Josiah's assault frigate, those 3 transports are still alive.
Oh, yeah.
and are going to keep those Y-Wings churning through their bombing attacks. If he goes after the transports, then I'm sure Josiah will be happy to give up even all 3 transports and keep his assault frigate alive, because even all 3 of those transports are only worth 26, 35, about 70 to 80 points.
Oh, yeah, yeah.
Yeah, 80 points, which is which is not enough to make up for Josiah's lead.
No, not even close.
Yeah.
And I don't see Justin having the oomph to take out that assault frigate on his own. Now, the one thing that could still save Justin, the one thing that could still win it for him, is if he can rack up enough shots on the rear of the enemy list. Because remember, that objective is still in play.
And
so he needs to do 2 things. He needs to not get destroyed.
He needs to not lose everything.
Easier said than done, truthfully, at this point.
Things are looking pretty brutal.
He needs to get a lot of objective points.
That's right. So we're looking at round 3 now. Already
Quick,
some
nasty
crucial clutch plays. And Justin deciding what he's going to go with. I think the smart play is Yavaris, but he has to. So that's the problem, right? Like if he goes with Yavaris, Josiah's going to immediately turn around and kill his admiral.
Oh, absolutely.
Yep, and he's going with Yavaris. He's probably accepting that Riken's dead now.
Unless Josiah just flubs that roll super hard.
But that's what ordnance experts are for. That's what the H9 turbo laser's for, and that's what Torrent Far is even for.
It's true.
He can basically re-roll every die on that ship.
That's just
or
nastiness.
Turn some of those dice into exactly what he needs.
Now, the one thing in Justin's favor is it is the Bright Hope.
Yep.
And if anything can survive a range 1 shot from admonition, it is the Bright Hope.
But those APTs are going to make all the difference as well. Okay.
Oh, that's true.
1 damage. Yep. So he's not even trying to shoot at those transports. A good call.
No, gotta kill squadrons.
Yep.
2 damage.
Okay, this is a very, very tasty blanket of fire.
So Josiah.
Okay, Yavaris rolling hot. Yavaris coming through in the clutch, putting out a huge amount of damage on all of Josiah's squadrons. And that is the danger of taking such a huge number of squadrons. If you bring decent anti-squadron stuff, if you bring enough flak, you can actually lay down a pretty big hurt on massed squadrons like that.
I think we can agree that Josiah has just paid the price for his committing all of his Y-Wings to Kilgallen Haven. Not a price that wasn't, not a unacceptable price, but that was still the trade-off, was that all those squadrons...
The price, Sam, was right.
Was it right?
The price was right.
It was right. Oh, man. Well, but
you know what? Yavaris is an absolute power piece. It's gonna spray down those ships, and now it is gonna let all of these squadrons just put the hurt on.
So you know what he's wondering? Am I in close range? And the answer is no.
That's fantastic.
The close range means?
Oh, here we go.
So he's got a shorter template, very handy to have. They're going to determine whether that is in fact close range. That's another big deal.
I'm sure that if he needs to, he'd be happy about doing a double arc shot on Riken's transport instead.
Oh yeah,
because that looks like that's in there.
Now I wonder if it looks like it is a perfectly valid double arc shot there.
I think so.
Yeah. Either way, admonition can't lose in its current position. It is a devastating piece, and it is exactly where it wants to be. It warms the very cockles of my heart, Sam, to see an MC30 used so devastatingly well.
I was going to say, the MC30 is one of your babies, isn't it?
It is. It's far and away my favorite ship in the game. I love the way it plays. I love how much of a threat it is, and how it can play at various ranges.
It's a ship that I would say requires a little more skill. People compare it to the Imperial Gladiator, but because it doesn't have that Demolisher title, a lot of people got into trouble with it early on because it's more fragile than a Gladiator.
Mm-hmm.
It has a lot of hitting power, but it has some really notable weaknesses, like the MC-30, for example, hates assault proton torpedoes itself.
Really does not love getting that.
No. It has it has tons of shields, but almost no hull. It has Corvette strength hull, so anything that goes through those shields just makes it feel miserable.
We are seeing Yavaris come into play and put the hurt on, though. That's going to clear away some squadrons.
Yep.
Because it just does such a devastating amount of damage.
Right, and if he managed, I wasn't sure whether he managed to move Yavaris out of close range of admonition. If he did that, he's at least got more of a game going on.
Yeah, we will see.
Oh.
Not what he needed.
Oh, Luke.
Not what he needed.
Oh.
There's one, finally.
And another damage. I'll take 2 tokens.
Okay, so here's what we're seeing is we're seeing Justin chase those points. That's very, very smart.
Smart.
He needs to get as many of those as possible. He needs to stay alive. He needs to rack up victory points, and he needs to close that ever-widening gap.
Mm-hmm. 20 points, not bad. 2 strikes from Luke. I mean,
I will also say this about the MC-30 before we move on to the next bit of action here. Yes, it lacks brace. Yes, it is fragile in a lot of ways. But the 2 titles that it has, Admonition and Foresight, give it a surprising amount of staying power. And I've seen a lot of people using Lando Crew on it as well to just keep it in the fight a devastating amount of time. And of course, you can also pair it with General Riken.
oh,
So there's a lot of options for the MC-30 in this game.
absolutely. And
is
again,
it that double devastation? Is it gonna get the twin broadsides?
we will find out here in just a minute. I mean, this is the kind of thing, it's probably close enough that they are going to check it and recheck it and recheck it. Oh, man.
We gotta shoot aside.
I think he's going for it.
Looks like it is in close range. Whew. Can't be happy about that one.
No. Yes, listen to the sound of those dice. Okay, so...
Well, he's got
he's got
an
his
accuracy.
1 accuracy.
He's got, and he's going to just ordnance experts that because
That's right.
bull for those crits.
There it is.
And there it is.
Oh, and you know what he's
Stop
going to
the
do?
double
Stop
brace.
brace.
An APT is react.
Oh, so brutal. So brutal. And of course, Dodonna.
Oh, you're going to side. Oh, okay. So 1, 2, 3.
Yeah.
Yep.
Those weak side arcs, man.
The APT though is technically first.
Yeah, I know.
Now, if he can sink... Oh, no.
If there's anything better, yeah, we'll do structural.
Structural.
More damage.
I think Yavaris may... Yep, structural damage. That's 2 damage. I mean, that's what you want with Dodonna. You want to fish for those
And
murderous crits.
Yavaris is now 2 damage away from dead. It has no redirects. The Y-Wings could easily finish it off this round.
On the other side,
I think it's actually 1 damage away from dead.
That is so nasty.
3 damage. 1 gets absorbed by the shields. 2 go through. But then APT's trigger
You're right.
deals a crit, which is an extra damage, but it's really 2 damage because it's structural. 1 damage away from dead.
That's so nasty.
And yeah, if he gets a few Y-Wings to just plink shots off.
Oh, yeah.
Yep, and
Oh,
there.
and I think
that's
Riken's
Riken.
dead too.
I think so. He's probably, yeah, he could re-roll that black die if he wanted to, but he doesn't need to.
No, he doesn't. And that's almost a total board wipe right there.
Yeah, because Riken, as we determined previously, Riken has Leia Organa and his Bomber Command Center and Bright Hope. It's a 61-point flotilla.
Oh, yeah.
That's a lot of points. That's...
I don't see Justin coming back from this.
You heard it here first. Admonition, best rebel ship in the game.
Or Foresight if you're running Mon Mothma. Or both. I just take both.
Yeah,
Because why choose?
Why take 1 when you can take 2? That's not even the whole fleet. Oh man, that's got to be a blow.
Just, and I mean, could you ask for a nastier shot.
No.
I think that's the most beautiful MC30 shot I've seen in quite some time.
Yeah, for those of you watching at home, the MC30 is armed with ordnance experts for rerolling the black dice, assault proton torpedoes for that extra face-up damage card that is also chosen by Dodonna, and H9 turbo lasers to turn blue dice into accuracy.
Crucial for dealing with flotillas. As we saw, it pops those just like a charm.
And the final piece of that puzzle is the admonition title, which Josiah has not had to use yet because admonition done a very good job staying out of the main fight, but it will allow him to discard defense tokens to cancel dice.
Absolutely. We also saw him use those H9 turbo lasers to get a second accuracy result and ensure that the hit he put on the Nebulon was a fully devastating hit.
That was a smart move.
H9s on a MC30 is a fantastic choice, particularly in today's meta.
That's right. I might have to start taking a few of those myself.
Yeah, I might do that too.
That's really good. I mean, that's the thing about the torpedo frigate. It's all close range. You have to be willing to fly it right into the teeth of the enemy. But when you do, it can pay off.
And it's pretty tanky. I mean, it's an expensive ship. It's not going to survive, a front arc shot from a Star Destroyer. I mean, it may be able to take one of those. Maybe. But, it's all about positional play. You get it in where you need it to be. And if it's not facing any just giant dice pools, it can survive long enough to have enough of an impact to easily be worth those points, even if it does eventually get destroyed. And this admonition is in no danger of being taken off of the battlefield.
No, it's starting to fly wide. It'll probably Josiah can probably keep it alive without too much trouble. He's going for some points now.
One hit.
Yeah, and that's all he cares about.
And as soon as Salvation, or rather, as soon as Yavaris is gone, it's over.
Yep.
That's all she wrote.
And he's scoring. Yep, he's scoring victory tokens now just by plinking on the side. Actually, 252. I think Yavaris might be dead now.
Yeah, I think this game might be over.
That is hard to tell. Again, for those of you watching,
there's one flotilla left on for Justin, I believe.
I think there's two, but for those of you watching at home, we'll just remind you that the only reason we're not sure is because Riken means that the stuff doesn't necessarily get pulled off right away.
Yeah, Riken prevents your ships from being removed from the play area until the status phase, which means those ships can still move, they can still shoot, they can still do squadron commands. But
there he goes.
Yeah, calling it.
Yep.
Calling it.
I think so you can see there, Justin has conceded after losing Yavaris, after losing Gallant Haven, Admonition, plus a entire wing of Y-Wings just chew through his forces. And that's the championship game right there.
And it goes to Josiah Burkhardsmeier. That is an interesting way to pronounce on the cuff. Josiah Burkhardsmeier is our 2016 Armada World's Champion. Minnesota,
represent. Congratulations to everyone who played in the Armada tournament today.
I was trying to get a 1-2 punch.
Definitely would have. I couldn't win the squadron game once he moved in there.
What's that?
I couldn't win.
Well, that's why I was trying to hold one more turn with Gallant Haven. I was hoping to last one more turn, and then
exactly.
There you hear it.
Yeah.
Yeah, unfortunately, I think Justin's not going to make that mistake again if he sees a list like this. He's going to realize that Gallant Haven cannot wade into the fray like that.
That's right. Well, so yes, we see a second Rebel list taking home the championship for Worlds this year.
That is Rebels 2 years in a row, although Gen Con was won by an Imperial list, and both lists at the top tables were Imperials.
That's right.
We are seeing this squadron game become more and more dominant as this game continues, as new upgrades come out, as more flexible lists come out, the GR75 and the Gazanti being such powerful support pieces. I think we are really seeing a squadron renaissance and a squadron-based meta in this game.
Yes, and a very different list than from last year. You've seen the difference between Wave 1 and Wave 4. One ship was the same as it was in Worlds 2015. That was one assault frigate, filling a very different role this time. Everything else new. Instead of A-Wings, you had Y-Wings and Y-Wings and HWKs and YT-1300s. And of course, that admonition, that Wave 2 punch on the Rebel side, and of course, lots of flotillas. Everyone's bringing flotillas for extra activation. Very, very impressive game.
Yeah, and I really like Josiah's list. It's got a lot of really good meta calls in it. It's got a lot of flexibility. Those Y-Wings are actually a anti-squadron threat with flight commanders, or flight controllers, rather. And just kind of got an answer for everything. And even against an absolutely brutal anti-squadron list, he was able to just outplay it and just put out enough of an alpha strike that it didn't matter. He ended the game before Justin's squadron firepower could become a problem.
And in the last game, we saw what happens when Justin gets to run his squadrons turn after turn. They just keep chewing up the opponent. But this time, this time everything was dead before he got a chance to really put them into play.
Yeah, Josiah just, perfectly positioned. Superior positions ended up being an excellent choice for Josiah. I mean, I can see why Justin picked it, because I think he had he been able to draw the game out, he could have gotten a lot of tokens. We already saw him starting to rack those up. If he'd had 3 more rounds to do that, that could have gotten huge for him.
And
but the obverse of that is that Josiah got to see him deploy his entire fleet and essentially just outflank him.
That's right. So that is the Armada World Championship, everyone. And I'm Sam Stewart.
I'm Alex Davey. Thank you so much for tuning in. We're going to have all kinds of other great stuff on the feed today, so stay tuned and take care.
Stay tuned, take care, and good gaming to everyone. And once again, we just want to thank Andy England, who made our dice tray. Andy England of Rolling Skulls. You can find him on Etsy, and thanks a lot for that awesome dice tray.
Check him out.
All right. Take care, everyone.
All right. I am here with Justin, the runner-up here today at the Armada World Championship. First of all, Justin, congratulations on a hard-fought day of Armada. That was a real pleasure to watch both of your games. First of all, just how did you find the tournament experience? What was it like to play today?
The whole experience was fantastic. I mean, great people, great. I mean, it's just actually the opponents just having fun with them, making laughs. It was just an excuse to get together, have some games in, and it was a good time. Like I enjoyed this. I totally want to do this next year. This is actually the first time I've actually traveled like something like on a plane to go play in a competitive gaming event, like a miniatures tabletop game. So first experience, and obviously pretty pleased with the outcome. Could have been more pleased, but you know what I mean. Like no one likes to lose, but
certainly true.
But in all honesty, I had a blast, a great time. I think the community guys. Hey, Alamo City Fleet Command back there. Thank you so much, guys, for your support. You guys are awesome. I hope I represented you well, but I'm sorry for the failure at the end. I know you guys are going to give me crap about that when I get home, so that's how it's going to go. But I had a great time, and it's just, like I said, the people, the atmosphere, the energy for miniature gaming. Come on, it's a great time. I mean, you're just out there, and everyone gets to see different ideas, and you're talking about you're talking with people who have the like interest and the same kind of talking the strategies, the tactics, and we all enjoy it. We have a good time. So, I love it. I can't say enough.
Well, it was certainly a pleasure to have you here, and again, a real pleasure to watch your games. I just want to ask you a little bit about the final match that we saw. What were your thoughts going into that fight, seeing the list that you saw across from you? How did you decide that you wanted to approach that?
So that's a great question, and I was feeling that I saw his MC30 set in there, and I knew he was going to come into the side, and I knew because it had H9s, I knew it had a dead flotilla right there. So with Riken, I felt like I was just going to make use of it and use that shield right away. So initially, that's my position. Where I messed up is what I should have done was activate my other flotillas before I moved Gallant Haven in. I very much underestimated the Y-wing blitz with the double bomber commands, and
that was brutal.
It was brutal, and the thing is, it was very dealable to manage because he has different activations which only do like a certain amount of squadron commands. And so if I had done a couple more activations, make him draw it out, then set Gallant Haven in, and then protect my squadrons, then usually I like to do the combo with Yavaris right after that. Yep. And that's usually how I've been playing it, but I took initiative, and this was a different story. I went over aggressive with it, which I think was the mistake. That was the key factor, right? That was the move that really decided the game. And,
that aggression served you very well in your previous matches, and it's easy to get wrapped up in what has worked for you before and to lose sight of that.
My philosophy is always like a go big, go home type of deal. Like if you learn to play this game aggressive, you're going to have fortune favors the bold, really.
Absolutely.
I mean, and that's kind of what I find is the odds end up being in your favor just because you set up those moves, you put pressure on your opponent. The game's about making your opponent make tough decisions, right? But you have to set that up, and that's where the part of the game is. And it's a fantastic game, and it's really well done. And I'm excited to see new stuff coming out and doing this next year and see if we can get a better outcome next year.
Well, congratulations again. It's great to have you as a representative of the community. A real pleasure to have you here at Worlds, and take care.
Thank you very much.
Well, and to you, I've got to say congratulations. You've done it all. You've done Minnesota proud here, and you claimed the trophy. So how are you feeling right now? Is this what you expected walking into the tournament?
No, not. I was like, I'm good. I don't know how good I am. We'll see exactly what happens. I'll do my best. And, it worked out. And I can't believe it. I couldn't believe when I made the cut. I still can't believe it now. I'm kind of in shock. So
we'll wait for that to sink in a little bit, as I'm sure it will over the next couple of days. I found your list build really interesting, and you seem to have correctly anticipated a lot of the challenges and needs of the current meta. So can you just maybe explain your list building process and why you brought what you brought to the table?
Yeah. Well, the list itself has actually been evolving for a long time. I was trying out some 12 Y-wing lists with 3 assault frigates. Flotillas came along to help with activations, tweak the squadrons because they didn't want to all be heavy. Torin Farr found was amazing with YT 1300s. And so the build has kind of changed over time. Just recently, though, I made the addition like 2 weeks ago to add the MC30.
Oh, really? So that's a recent addition.
Yeah, previously it was just 2 assault frigates, 2 flotillas, and a TRC 90. And I found that if I was given first player, which was happening occasionally, I just couldn't make that first player count with a big enough punch. So I added in the MC30 and then had to go to 3 flotillas. And it worked out, and I have fun playing it. So,
well, that MC30 was money. That game certainly destroyed 3 ships by my count on virtually single-handedly. So
it did.
Clearly, that late list edition paid off big dividends for you.
Yeah, for sure. And I love the MC30. It's my favorite ship.
Mine too.
If I can fit it in, I'm going to do it.
Yeah, well, again, fantastic anticipation of the meta, really good play. I just have to ask, have you even started to think about what cards you're going to design?
No, and I've thought about it in the past. Be like, I'm going to Worlds, be like, what would happen if I won? What would I do? And it's like, well, first of all, I'd have to win, and second of all, I'll just cross that bridge when I come to it, because there's so many good ideas out there from different community members. So there's definitely a lot of design space, and I'll have to try to come up with something original too. So, well,
we look forward to seeing what you've got in store for us. Congratulations again, and take care. I'm going to present you here. We've got the 2016 Armada World Champion Trophy, and we have a custom World Champion playmat for you. So, thanks for coming, and thanks for playing.
Yeah, thank you.